You are falling toward Earth at 15,000 miles per hour. No heat shield. No fuel. By all laws of early spaceflight, you are seconds away from burning up in the atmosphere. But then, reaching down from the blackness of space, a 600-mile-long mechanical arm swoops in, catches your ship, and hurls you back into the void. No fire, no roar of engines, just the terrifying physics of a cosmic slingshot. Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing a machine the size of a small country whipping around our planet faster than a bullet. It catches spacecraft right out of the atmosphere, tossing them toward the outer solar system. It sounds impossible. But physics says this is the momentum tether, and it might be the only way we truly build a civilization across the stars. Every rocket launch you have ever watched is a tragic waste of energy. For decades, we've stared upward, dreaming of a bustling interplanetary future, yet we remain anchored to our pale blue dot by gravity. To truly inhabit the stars, we have to stop fighting the cosmos with fire. The greatest barrier isn't a lack of ambition. It's the brutal math of the rocket equation. Gravity runs a protection racket. For every pound of cargo you want to take to space, the universe demands 99 pounds of dead-weight fuel as payment. You carry a gas station on your back, while also carrying the fuel needed to lift that gas station. We build skyscrapers of propellant just to place a van-sized capsule into orbit. If we want to break this vicious cycle, the solution isn't a slightly more efficient combustion engine. We have to stop throwing mass out the back of a ship to move forward. Instead, we have to steal momentum from orbit itself. A momentum tether is a cable of extraordinary length placed into the vacuum of space. But it's never static. It operates less like a vehicle and more like a medieval sling. Picture a baton twirled by a marching band conductor, cartwheeling end over end as it moves through the air. As this 600-mile cable orbits the Earth, it continuously spins around its own center of mass. This rotation creates a brilliant mechanical advantage. As the tether cartwheels, its lowest tip sweeps down toward the edge of the atmosphere. Because the backward spin of the cable subtracts from its forward orbital velocity, the tip's speed relative to the ground drops dramatically. It slows down, hovering for a brief, breathless window to extend a mechanical hand. Meanwhile, the upper tip sweeps high into deep space, its rotational speed perfectly adding to the orbital speed, moving at several miles per second. We are trading the ear-shattering roar of chemical propulsion for a spinning machine rotating faster than a rifle bullet. In this future, a passenger shuttle no longer needs bulging fuel tanks to reach interplanetary velocity. It only requires a modest push, just enough energy to hop out of the thickest part of the atmosphere and match speeds with the tether's slowed lower tip. Once the physical connection is made, the rocket equation is shattered. The spacecraft becomes a passenger on the universe's most efficient catapult, ready to be slung across the solar system in a quiet, propellantless dance. The rendezvous demands unforgiving precision. Stripped of booster rockets, the payload reaches the apex of its suborbital arc, hanging momentarily in the silence of the thermosphere. At this precise second, the lowest tip of the cartwheeling tether descends. Moving surprisingly slowly compared to the ground below, it swoops down like a hawk plucking a fish from a rushing river. A grapple, guided by automated lasers, secures the payload. There is no shock, just a smooth, firm pull as the catch is made. Immediately, the payload is hauled upward, swept away from Earth by the rising arc of the cable. The passengers inside experience a steady, manufactured gravity. They are pressed into their seats not by engines, but by the centrifugal force of the spin. As the capsule swings upward, the atmosphere falls away. The curvature of the Earth reveals itself entirely, framed by the sweeping motion of a mechanical pendulum. The tether continues its silent cartwheel. In minutes, the payload is carried from the bottom of the sweeping arc to the very top. High above the Earth, in the deep vacuum, the physics align for the throw. The rotational speed of the tether perfectly adds to its sweeping orbital speed. The grapple opens. In absolute silence, the payload is hurled into the void, perfectly injected into a high-speed trajectory toward Mars or the distant asteroid belt. But there is a catch. The tether doesn't create energy. The universe doesn't give out free rides. It runs a strict kinetic bank account. When the tether accelerates our ship, it pays the price. It surrenders a fraction of its own orbital momentum. With every outward throw, the entire tether slows down infinitesimally, causing its orbit to sag toward the atmosphere. If we only throw outgoing ships, the tether will eventually decay, skip against the upper atmosphere, and burn up. To survive, the system must act as a two-way street. It has to charge its account by catching incoming weight. Imagine a freighter returning heavily laden with refined metals from the asteroid belt. It approaches Earth at interplanetary speed. The tether reaches up, catches the fast-moving freighter at the top of its rotation, and absorbs that kinetic energy. This catch acts like a giant orbital battery charger. The tether steals the inbound ship's momentum to violently brake it, boosting the tether itself back into a higher, faster orbit. We are literally trading the raw speed of incoming mass to power our outward voyages. To execute this celestial juggling act, the engineering stretches the absolute limits of modern material science. We cannot forge this structure from steel or titanium. The sheer outward pulling force of a 600-mile spinning cable would snap any conventional metal like brittle twine. It must be spun from advanced polymers or carbon nanotubes. And the tether cannot be equally thick from end to end. The center experiences unimaginable tension, the force of the entire spinning structure trying to tear itself apart. So the machine tapers like a bullwhip, thick and heavy at the center handle, housing the control hub and solar arrays, and razor-thin at the tip to crack into the upper atmosphere and snatch a payload. When we scale this singular machine into an interconnected network, the true majesty of the momentum tether is revealed. A single rotating cable in Earth orbit is merely a local catapult. But if we weave a series of these structures across the inner planets, the solar system stops looking like isolated planets and starts looking like subway stations connected by invisible rails. Imagine a tether gracefully cartwheeling above the gray, cratered surface of the Moon, another spinning over the dusty plains of Mars, and massive catching stations waiting in the dark, rocky depths of the asteroid belt. This sweeping architecture transforms unreachable celestial islands into a bustling interplanetary metropolis. The journey of a passenger liner from Earth to Mars would no longer require thousands of tons of propellant. The ship is simply flung outward by the Earth tether, drifting silently across the void. Months later, as it approaches the red planet, it doesn't need to fire retro rockets to brake. The Martian tether simply reaches up, times its rotation to catch the arriving vessel, and seamlessly absorbs its forward momentum. The ship is safely swung down and gently released into a low, stable orbit. By passing payloads back and forth like batons in a grand relay race, the entire transit requires almost zero onboard fuel. Ships become sleek, spacious, and infinitely lighter. The ripple effect of this zero-propellant transit sparks a profound economic revolution. The astronomical cost of deep space travel plummets, breaking the monopoly of gravity forever. Shipping raw materials like frozen water or iron mined from asteroids becomes as routine as moving cargo across our terrestrial oceans. These spinning tethers become the mechanical trade winds of a new human era. The continuous exchange of momentum ensures the system remains infinitely balanced. The kinetic energy of an incoming freighter of iron from Ceres perfectly powers the outgoing throw of a colonist ship bound for Mars. This network shifts our fundamental relationship with the cosmos. The solar system is no longer a hostile, impossibly vast desert. It becomes a connected, accessible frontier. We trade the explosive leaps of our early space age for a quiet, rhythmic pulse of continuous commerce and human exploration. The mechanical ballet of catching, spinning, and releasing becomes the heartbeat of a multi-planetary civilization. It forever decouples our destiny from the gravitational pull of a single world. Children born on Mars may one day watch cargo tethers crossing the night sky the way we once watched airplanes. For all of human history, gravity has trapped us on isolated islands in space. Every mission beyond Earth has been an escape attempt powered by fire. But the momentum tether suggests something radically different. Maybe the future of space travel is not about fighting the universe harder, but learning how to move with it. One day, enormous cables may swing silently above Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt, passing ships between worlds the way ports once passed ships across oceans. Children born centuries from now may look at rockets the way we look at steam engines: primitive, loud, and hopelessly inefficient. And if that happens, then humanity's expansion into the cosmos will not begin with a more powerful engine. It will begin with a simple realization. The universe was already in motion. We just had to learn how to grab hold of it.